Welcome to Super Bowl 59, Chieftains. We unfortunately got the Super Bowl that only 1% of America wanted, and now the remainder of us pray that a meteor hits the money-laundering Superdome, because there is no way that the Saints can remain over $40 million in cap space for years and not be in trouble. I'm telling you, there's got to be mafia money laundering happening in the Superdome. Gail Benson is forcing Derek Carr to take taxpayer dollars and gamble them in the Superdome. Anyway, I'm sorry. I get very emotional over my goat Josh Allen and his very clear first down. In Sapulpa sports ball news, basketball has a game today, yesterday, or 2 days ago, depending on when this gets recorded. They will play Glenpool on the 28th right here in the Chieftain Center. And then we'll see Edmond North at home again on Friday the 31st. And as always, these games will be broadcast right here on Chieftain TV. Now, how have our basketball teams performed over the last few games? Well, our girls have won 3 of their last 5, 2 of those being district games. This puts them at 9-8 overall, 6-3 in district play. As for the boys, they've had a rough streak, losing 4 of their last 5, most of them by 10 or more points, though finally claiming a victory over McLean at the Rogers Invitational this weekend. This puts the boys at 6-11 overall, 1-7 in district play. Now, there's no point in me trying to analyze this. Let's head over to Coach Nagel to break down these games and hear his plan for the remainder of the season.
And we are joined once again here with Coach Nagel, head coach of the boys basketball team here. And as I've just described, Coach Nagel, we've had a rough couple of weeks. You guys managed to pick up a win here over this last weekend at the Rogers Invitational Tournament. And coming into that, you guys were 5-9 overall, 1-7 in district play, and had lost your last 5 games by 10 or more points. And after that win, you now move up to 6-11. And can you kind of run me through what's been happening over these last few games and what your plans are to improve the Chieftains?
Yeah, yes, sir. So we've hit a rough patch ever since 2025, the start of the new year. At the Christmas break, we were 5-3 and had won a tournament, and so things were really looking good. And then we hit district play coming out of Christmas and wasn't very good. And then we went to the Lincoln tournament and was able to take one of those 3 there. But a bunch of rough games, a bunch of tough opponents. But then we've just been battling consistency. We've been battling leadership. I really do think that we've taken a turn last week. I thought that we really competed last week after the Rogers game. I thought Friday versus McLean was our best team win that we've had collectively for 32 minutes, best we've looked on both sides of the floor. Saturday versus Muskogee in the Rogers tournament had a heartbreaker. To be honest with you, that one stung a little bit. So we led the majority of the game. We led by 2 at half. Led by 4 at the end of the third, and Muskogee hits a shot with 6 seconds to go to win the game by 1 point. And another 6A opponent that was not in our district, but another 6A opponent who doesn't have a great record, kind of like we do, and both fighting for a win. But just a heartbreaker, to be honest with you. But got Glenpool tomorrow night, and hoping to get back, on the winning track, win 2 out of 3. But district play, 6A, is we've made that jump, in August when the class identification kind of came out, and we're the 32 biggest school of 32. Mm-hmm. So we're the smallest 6A school, but it's just different. That size is different. We don't have a true big, and so our physicality, I think our guys are working hard. I think they're buying into what we're doing, but yeah, we hit a rough patch with losing games by double digits there for 5 or 6 straight, but hopefully, we're going to finish strong. I truly believe we will.
Yeah, for sure. And that's something I've noticed over the last couple. The last one I believe I attended was the one coming right out of winter break. And you guys fought tooth and nail to keep that score close the whole time. Really went on a hot streak, and game was definitely not out of reach until timer hit 0 for sure. So what are some plans that you have to improve the Chieftains and get them kind of into the playoff picture over these last couple of district games that we have left in the season?
So I say it to our guys all year, starting in April. We get a little bit of a break in March, but starting in April, I say basketball is the longest season of any sport. You start practices, like legit practices, in October. We do stuff all summer. And then, you start games in early December. Scrimmages are all November, and then it goes all the way into March. And so it is just a grind And so you can't let the highs get too high and the lows get too low. And so, meaning, we've hit a rough patch, but just like that, you can turn the corner because there are so many games and there are so many opportunities to, sneak away with the win or, fight through adversity or fight through injury or, a year ago we had a whole week where almost the entire team gets the flu. And, how do you – well, it's a long season, so you just can't let those low times and we've hit some this year. You just can't let that stuff affect you or affect the team. I've got to come in. I've got on my practice schedule every single day. I've got at the bottom of my sheets it says be the same guy every day, and so I try to really preach that to our team. Just keep showing up to work, and eventually, good things will happen. You've got to go through. You got to go through some crap and some mud in the sewer, but at the end of every sewer, there's a light at the end of the tunnel, right? And so, don't know what that light is. Every team is different. Their light is a little different, but our guys do. They continue to show up. They continue to show up to weekend workouts and weekend practices. We never battle, consistency of who's there or guys having to leave early. The discipline is definitely set in the things that we do. So you just got to keep coming to work and believing in the work that you're doing.
100%. Now, as we come into the last couple games of the season, and we've seen a lot of play from the team so far, who are some key players you think that fans should be on the lookout for as we come into these last couple games?
So Zach Lewis, our starting point guard, he's been kind of our rock since I've been here the last year and a half. He had 26 on Saturday, so he's really starting to hit that. We call it senior urgency. And so I've been doing this almost a decade now as a head coach, and so every year it's funny, those seniors, all of a sudden they realize it's close, like it's almost over. And so they really start to hit their groove and their stride. And so Zach, I think, is starting to hit that. He was really good against Broken Arrow last Tuesday against arguably the best team in the state, and had 20-plus in that game as well against a bunch of 6'4", 6'5" guys. So Zach definitely does things on and off the court, works really hard. But then Roman Poindexter is a sophomore for us who is really shooting the ball well, has started to use his size on the offensive glass. He's a guy that I think he's starting to score in double figures almost every game, shooting it really well. Jace Parker's been consistent. Shooting from beyond the arc. He's averaging about 10 points a game. And Jalen Pratt is a senior that we've had to bench him a little bit because he wasn't playing well early. But now, this past week, there's that senior urgency. So I think we're going to see some of that. And I don't want to leave Jaden Lanham out either. Jaden is an undersized 5-man, right? That just has to guard everybody's 6'7" guy every night. And Jaden has been probably our best leader. He talks to everybody. He brings them together. He holds them accountable. So Jaden has really, especially in 2025, has really matured and does a lot of the intangibles. So,
and I guess to bounce off that, as we look forward to the next season, of course, the season's far from over yet, but as we start to look forward to it as we come towards the end of this season, we're obviously going to lose some notable seniors off the team, probably some leadership there. And so who are some people you're hoping to see in the next season, the 25-26 season, step up to take their place?
Yeah, so definitely, like I said, it's a long season, right? So I am by no means counting this season out. Told them Saturday in the locker room, I'm telling you, we're going to upset somebody in the playoffs. I really, truly believe that. Because of their consistent hard work. So I'm definitely not I'm looking forward to next year, but I'm not bypassing this season by any means. But, we start 2 sophomores and a freshman consistently. So Landon Barber's been a freshman for us who started almost every game. And, he's not lighting up the scorebook, but we don't need him to yet. He does. He's probably the hardest working guy in the gym. For the last 9 months, and so really pushes himself. He just leads by example. Roman Poindexter and Jace Parker are 2 that we're going to be definitely leaning on. Probably put Jace on ball a little bit next year, where Zach Lewis has kind of dominated the point guard position, and Jace has had to play the 2. Probably looking to move him to the 1. A guy named Chase Ward another sophomore guy off the bench for us all year. Our glue guy, our guy like a Dennis Rodman type guy, Draymond Green type guy, like will do the dirty work. Chase has matured drastically since I've been here, and he continues to grow into an awesome young man. And so, but he does a lot of the dirty work. He'll come in, take charges, get loose balls, get an offensive rebound, hit a big three on Saturday against Muskogee. So Tyler Morgan and Demarion McKinney will be seniors for us next year. I haven't mentioned them yet in this interview, but they're juniors. They both play varsity, but they both play some JV time. But, man, those kids right there, Demarion and Tyler, will be really good senior leaders for us because they're bought into the leadership aspect of what it takes to be a senior. Are they going to lead us in scoring next year? No. As seniors, you kind of look for that, but they will hold kids accountable. They'll be the energy, they'll be the spirit, and no matter what, young guys will follow that lead. So those are some guys. I'm leaving a bunch out because we're so young, but I really do think we'll continue to grow. We are young. To start 2 sophomores and a freshman in 6A is kind of wild. I mean, Broken Arrow, who I just mentioned in this interview, Broken Arrow they played 3 seniors in JV the other night. Like there are no sophomores on that team. They're all juniors and seniors, and so if everyone will stick around, and that's something you got to worry about in this day and age of the transfer portal. But if everybody will stick around and continue to buy in, know that hasn't been a unbelievable year. Not what we wanted to build off of the success from last year, but it's coming. I truly believe that.
And one last question for you. So we here at Chieftain TV, we're challenging our student section because I'm sure, as you know, it's been a little bit lackluster at the games. Yeah. And so we're challenging them to show out for a couple of these upcoming games, especially we have 2 home games this week at the time of we're recording this interview. So what games on our upcoming schedule do you think that fans should especially turn out for?
Well, hopefully they come out to every one of them. But not sure when you're going to release this interview, but tomorrow night against Glenpool, that's not a 6A opponent, but that's an opponent that's competitive, but they're right down the street. And so you always want to beat a school that's right down the street, right? Again, you're competing for players all the time coming out of the elementary schools, the Lone Stars of the world, and so you want to beat somebody right down the street. And then obviously Sand Springs is coming up, and so the Highway 97, we did not play very well over there. They've got a good basketball team, but that's one that obviously you shouldn't have to try to preach to get them to come out. But Edmond North, they've got that's this Friday. Edmond North has got 2 state championships in the last 4 years. That's a good basketball program. So if you want to see good basketball, our boys and girls programs are they're competing every night. Our girls program's kind of on a little bit of a winning streak here, so they're playing really well. But come out. I know my booster club is trying to work with Miss Zimmerman and get themes and different stuff together to get some excitement. And it's not just here. It's not just at Sapulpa. A lot of schools are struggling with attendance and the student body participating, and it's just the day and age. I think cell phones, but I also think that lessons, everybody's got private lessons, or everybody's got baseball stuff, or they've got, different sports, and kids are just busier now than they were when I was in school, and so that's part of it. I don't think it's kids not wanting to support. I think they're just a lot of Sapulpa students have jobs, etc. But, man, make time on a Tuesday and Friday night. We've got a bunch coming up. Come out. I mean, there's hardly any better arena than the Chieftain Center, so you're going to have a good seat, and players feed off the energy in the arena. I truly believe that. I'm a big fan of home crowds can affect games. You look at that home court advantage or home field advantage. It's funny how that works, but I really do think that players and coaches and everybody, they feed off the energy in the arena. Yeah.
For sure. And as always, do you have any questions or statements or anything outside of the questions I prepared for you today?
Oh, do I have a question for you?
Sure.
Oh, no, I didn't know I was going to have to. I'm not the interviewer. I'm the interviewee, right? So, no, I don't have anything. I appreciate everything you guys do. truly. I think Chieftain TV has done awesome with covering just athletics, but then the announcements and everything. It's awesome. I can't wait to see how this continues to progress.
Well, thank you, Coach Nagel, and good luck on your next couple of games. And we can't wait to see you on the court and see what the boys can do.
Thank you. I don't want any sour challenge or anything don't put me in that. I would cry a lot worse than Coach Dugan and Coach Arndale. That's for sure. I would struggle in that. So thank you.
Alrighty, thank you.
Appreciate it.
Of course.
Thanks for the information, Coach. No matter where the season ends up, it's been fantastic to watch the boys play, and here's to hoping for the best. But as I mentioned to Coach Nagel, we have a challenge for you. Our student population has been more than lackluster at our recent basketball games. Because of this, I challenge you. This Friday night, you all show out to the football games on Friday night, so you have no excuse to not be here. If you all show out for the girls and boys game, you will get a special segment on the next edition of Cspn with interviews, a breakdown, and an announcement of the most spirited student. As for wrestling, they have a match at Sand Springs this Thursday night at 6 p.m. Well, it's been fun, Chieftains, but the light's getting dim and the fire's getting low, and I just heard somebody yell that it's time to go. Now, don't forget to come back Friday night, but in case I don't see you there, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.